right, everyone, we are back with another episode of the All You Can Geek Moviecast. Mine is Jim, your usual host. Tonight it'll be yours truly, Corey Feinsod, with Tony Korkanakis
Ayo.
and Mike Snitty.
What's up?
Yo, he's back. Mike,
Mm-hmm.
welcome. You missed last
Yeah.
week. We having
Yeah.
fun, bachelor party, all the good stuff,
Yeah.
and we're in the movie cast now. So, what
Where
have
we're
you
at.
been up to? I want to hear what's going on over there. I'm assuming you didn't get to
Uh,
watch much, but
no, I didn't really watch anything.
all right. No, anything exciting at the bachelor party, man? Come on,
I
you gotta get the
mean,
goods.
yeah, we didn't turn any TVs on like that. We there was poker.
Well, I'll talk about poker later. But let's hear what you've been up to, Tony. What have you been watching? Anything new?
Yeah, a couple things. So, what was it? Went through the Jumanji movies again. Just
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Did you start with the Robin Williams one?
no, the new one. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Just the Rock and
Yeah.
Hart ones.
And
Okay.
watching those again because it's been a couple years. I think I watched
Yeah,
during the
yeah.
pandemic. But they're just like really solid movies, right? Like they're not trying to be anything, more than
More or less,
right?
yeah.
Than what is advertised, right? And seeing both of these, I'm just like, why did they not just immediately work on a sequel, right? Like, why is there not a third one? And you know, I kind of wonder if The Rock wishes he had done a third one now instead of hopping on that Black
Bit of
Adam
Black
train.
Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were good. And then I finished the season finale of the My Adventures of Superman, and that was spectacular.
Oh, nice.
They are confirmed for a second season already. I think next year or something
Awesome.
like that.
That's good to hear.
But,
You always
yeah.
want to know there's more coming.
Yeah,
I
and I
like
gotta
it.
say again, just for an animated version of Superman, best since the DC universe. Bruce Tim version,
Bruce
stuff like
Timm
that.
stuff.
Yeah, so
Cool.
highly recommend that. And the season ends. It's really fun because they purposely play with things that you kind of know about Superman lore and mythos and
Right.
stuff like that. So you're never like sure what they're gonna do with certain plot points and elements and other characters and stuff like that. So kind of keeps you on your toes, and I like that because it's like you'd be like, oh, this is so and so, and they're gonna do this, and it's like, oh, well, actually, they didn't do that. They did the opposite. Subvert expectations, stuff like that.
Nice.
And then
Sounds
lastly, the new season of Jujutsu Kaisen came out.
Mm.
So caught up with that because it's ongoing right now every week.
Was it confusing at first? Like, what's happening in the beginning of the season? You're like, wait, what's happening right now from where we left off to where
It
starts?
was, but like 10 minutes in, I was like, I see what's going on here. Have you watched it yet or no?
No, I just heard that it was confusing at first. Excuse me, what? Oh.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so basically, season one
There we
happens. They released a movie which is actually canonical, just like Demon Slayer was, but it takes place in the past when Gojo, the teacher,
Right, right.
was in high school. So then, before the continuity of the present day happens, they have like a little 5-episode arc where it's him again in the high school himself and stuff like that, and it kind of sets up things that are happening in present day.
Okay, so that makes sense. If you didn't watch the movie, you might be a little bit more thrown off by.
It's interesting because actually I would kind of suggest people maybe watch season one, go into season two, watch this 5-episode arc, and then watch the movie.
Interesting.
Kind of
Okay.
like a little like the you got some of that Star Wars prequel original trilogy
rearrange things to
Rearrange
make it
things, yeah.
more
yeah
canonical. Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so then they just finished that, and then they're going into the present day, and this is supposedly one of the best arcs. Not just for the manga, but like all of shonen. Apparently, a lot of animators really wanted to work on this season of the anime.
Oh wow.
So I'm pretty pumped for that. And
Yeah, I kind of fell off of it, and so that makes me wanna jump back in a little bit now.
yeah, I would
So,
definitely recommend it because
cool.
it's pretty hype so far.
Well, speaking of anime,
Uh-oh.
no, not oh. my boys saw One Piece was on Netflix, not
Mm.
the anime,
Yeah.
but
The
the
live
live
action.
action.
Nice.
And so I was like, all right, yeah, we'll watch it. And you know what? They loved it. They
Well, that's
think it was
awesome.
awesome. It's like just a really fun pirate story. Like they don't know anything about the anime. They did a really I have to admit they did a really good job of adapting it and giving it the attention it deserves. I guess like production value it deserves. And yeah, I actually thought it was pretty decent for uh, based off of recent like trends of anime to live
Hmm.
action. We've
Yeah.
not had much luck. This has been way better in my opinion, just as like a fun pirate thing. If you look at it on its own, like Cowboy Bebop was it didn't work
Hmm.
for what it was doing, but with like pirates and just fun goofiness, this worked really well. And I think like for kids especially, they'll love it. It's just like some goofy, fun,
Yeah.
piratey good times, and yeah, and all the characters are great, and it's got a good, it's a good message. Basically follow your dreams and
Hmm.
don't let things get in your way and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it actually did a good job. I will say I'm not a big fan of the guy that plays Luffy.
Hmm.
I think they did a good job casting the actor's physicality aspect of it, but I'm not a big fan of some of the way he portrays the character
Oh, really?
myself.
Interesting.
But yeah, Zoro is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's great in this. Yeah, he's a little bit more morose even in this
Okay.
than he is in the anime, from what I remember. And they do change stuff up a little bit and rearrange things to make it work for an hour show on television for an 8 episode
Oh,
season.
they're an hour each. Interesting. I didn't know
Is
that.
it an hour? I think it's like
Or
almost an
40. Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, like around that. It's over 30 minutes. Yeah,
Okay. That's good to hear.
from what
I
I
know Oda was
remember.
directly involved a lot in
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
creation.
know that and I think they spent like $18 million an episode, which is
Damn,
ridiculous. Yeah.
that's a big budget.
So, and yeah, and all the fight choreography was really well done for what it is. But yeah, I would highly recommend if you don't know anything about One Piece and just want some fun piratey stuff, I would say it's a good show to check out, especially for young boys
Yeah.
or girls, young
Yeah,
kids.
there's a lot of girls in
Don't
One
wanna,
Piece too. I mean,
yeah.
it's so popular these days, especially now because it's
Oh,
coming to
yeah.
the
And this is a great place
conclusion.
to jump in
Yeah,
because people get a little intimidated by the 1,000 plus episodes.
yeah, it is.
So if you want to just get like a fun piratey thing going here, this did a good job. And like I said, the acting and production values, pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so watch that. Did we watch the latest episode of Ahsoka as well, which
Mm.
is okay? Was that did we talk about? I think there was like the third one, right? We did.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was the third one. Yeah, it's fine. I like it. I think as far as what the recent Star Wars stuff has done, this has been the best, in my opinion,
Hmm.
of giving me what I was wanting from Star Wars. But I am still a little. I'm just so disappointed in Ahsoka is from that book. It's just hard to get me out of
Wait, is
that.
that supposed to be canon to this? I
I
forget.
don't know. I don't know. I thought it was canon because it came after Disney took over,
Hmm.
but um, I think they're trying to redo a lot of stuff, with Rebels and with
Yeah.
this and stuff. So who knows? It just that
I
just left
forgot
such
about
a
it. I
bad
always forget
taste in
about
my
that
mouth.
book until you bring it up.
Well,
Until you
just
bring
it
it up,
was
I
such a
always forget
bad
about it.
taste,
It was.
and so every time I see Ahsoka, I just think like, oh, I really hope they do better. So I'm like wanting it, but yeah, that's the main stuff I've been up to. So yeah, let's move into the box office because this was actually pretty surprising in my opinion because The Equalizer. There's a third one. Denzel Washington reteams with Dakota Fanning from Man on Fire days. But yeah, so The Equalizer 3 actually came in at number one with 42, almost 43 million at the box office this holiday weekend.
Mm,
I think that includes the holiday. I'm not sure. I think it does though. I think
yeah.
it's like the 4 day holiday thing. And then Barbie was second with 13. Blue Beetle came in third with 9.5. Gran Turismo was 8, and Oppenheimer. So Barbie and Oppenheimer, 7 weeks on the box office, still top five. So
Hmm.
good for them. And
Yeah.
they're both coming out to digital fairly soon, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think next week or 2 weeks or something like that. Barbie
Barbie
actually
for
just
sure.
overtook Mario as the number one movie for the year worldwide.
Yep, there you go, Barbie.
Yep.
Good deal. All right, let's then move on into some news, guys. And there was some interesting stuff that happened. Obviously, the writer strike is impacting everyone.
Yep.
We cannot get away from this because it is going to hurt a bunch. Because things are getting delayed now, which have been announced years ago. We'll start with those so we can get the bad out of the way. But The Last of Us season two, which was very popular this earlier this year, is basically ready to go. But obviously, they can't do anything until the strike ends. So that's shelved until the strike's over. We got X-Men 97, which was supposed to be this year, Mike. I don't know. Now we're looking at early 2024
It's a
for
shame.
that. Which again, it sucks because I would have assumed a lot of that was already done as far as the writing and the voice acting. But
Yeah, I'm not really sure if they're just doing this to have the actors available to promote stuff, or
well,
if they
that's
actually
part
have
of
to
it.
work
Yeah,
on it anymore. I'm not sure.
yeah. I mean, it could be a little bit of both. And keeping it in the Marvel world, Daredevil, Born Again, which is coming to Disney Plus, is also
Hmm.
delayed. And this one is
Yep.
indefinitely delayed due to the
Yep.
strike.
Yeah. The two properties I care about, but going forward. But yep.
Yeah, so more delays as we predicted and assumed would happen. At this point, I think
Yep.
it's going to start hurting, you know, the companies a little bit more, but it's obviously hurting us as consumers the most because we're not getting the things that we were promised and that we were paying for, essentially.
That's fine. I got a backlog. I'll do stuff.
There's plenty still, but it is a shame we're getting all these
No,
delays.
absolutely. But companies need to weather that more than we need content.
Oh,
It's just like
sure.
I feel like it's just like The Office, right? Where Michael Scott takes over the he
Oh,
starts his own paper company, right?
yeah, the
And he has that.
Michael.
He has
Hmm.
like that. I really honestly respect
Our
that.
company is worth nothing.
Yeah, my company's worth nothing. I'll start another one and another one. I've got all the names picked out. But no, when he's talking the negotiation, and they're trying to buy him out,
Mhm.
and he's like, I don't think I need to, wait. I think I need to wait you out, And then he's talk about like the shareholders and this
Yeah.
and the other thing, and it's like, I think we're getting to that point, honestly, because I mean, the first
Mhm.
couple months, there's going to be some stuff, but like it's going to be bad because the actors aren't going to be able to promote stuff. But then after
Yep.
that, I mean, it's going to be dry as a desert,
Hmm.
fucking Sahara. Nothing, nothing.
Yeah, no, and that's part of why we're getting these delays. So I think they have something to put out while
Yeah,
there's
they're like,
nothing in
well, we don't really
production.
need it this year, but we could pad it next year. So we
Yep.
got some stuff.
Let's move into some interesting rumors, which I don't know. Josh Hartnett, who was like a teen heartthrob back in the day, I think early 2000s, I guess. I don't know. He used to be
Yeah, I
in
would
some of
say
those
so.
movies.
Maybe.
He was apparently offered the role of Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four or Marvel universe, and it's kind of
Hmm.
an outside the box casting, I would say, just because he's not the first person I would think of when
Who is the
think of
first you would
Doctor.
think of?
First person I think of was that the guy from the original Doctor Doom, or not
Well, yeah. Well,
original, but
that's what he is, like a 40-something handsome dude.
no. Well,
Now.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. I would expect someone to be, I guess, not it felt like, oh, like, Heath Ledger would be a great Joker. Let's cast him, but nobody would like consider that to be a good decision, and then he turned out to be great. It felt like that kind of rumor casting thing, just because he was well known for something, for being not this type of role.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know. It just seems, again, I want people that are less well known. I want to discover them, like Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Like you want to find them as this character and
Mm-hmm.
see
Sure,
them as
but
that character more.
Josh Hartnett hasn't done much of note in like the last decade.
Yeah, but I mean, we grew
So
up with him being in the spotlight in those types of movies. I feel like for me personally, I just don't want to see it, I guess. But anyways, but
okay.
but more rumors and speculation. We have the Batman Part Two, Matt Reeves Batman with the Bat uh, or Robert Pattinson as Batman here.
Pattinson.
There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Rumor
The
has it
Bat.
that it's going to start filming next year, and that Clayface will be involved, as well as the Dick Grayson being in the movie.
These are
Matt, you are
both.
the resident Batman fan here, so how do you feel about?
Well, these both of those things are things that traditionally cinematic adaptations have been afraid to wade into since basically forever and Batman and Robin. That pretty much killed Robin for decades. So we'll see. Robin is okay, but the Batman. It's gonna be interesting how they make Clayface as grounded as the rest of this movie tries to be. Because the Batman to me, aside from his superhuman suit durability, was pretty grounded. They tried to make it as realistic as they could, I thought. And Clayface is like a weird muckman, and I don't know how you make him not a weird muckman. That's like it goes beyond what you would normally consider, even sci-fi. It's like almost fantasy when he shows up. So, uh, I mean, he's definitely like a notable rogues gallery member of Batman that hasn't been in the cinematic universe, and I feel like that's part of the reason why. But I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. The tone feels weird. I feel like he would fit more in like a Burton-esque sort of magic realism setting. But I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily disagree, but at the same time, I'm excited to see them do something different than what we've seen before. And
I
I
definitely
think,
don't want their take on the Joker to show up right away because I didn't like
Mhm.
where they were going with that. I don't need more Joker for a little while. I'm good.
Yeah, and I think it could be interesting, like with Clayface being able to shapeshift into different people, essentially, you could have a pretty interesting and grounded mystery of like misdirection and who done it
Yeah,
type of
detecting
stuff.
this, right? And like, I mean, it's all how they handle
Like
it.
an
I
X
mean,
Files or something.
if his powers are because I don't know. The weird thing about Clayface for me is that I'm most familiar with him in the animated series, Bruce Tim
Mhm.
again, where
You got experience, you got exposure to him in
yeah,
Harley Quinn.
yeah, where I feel like he's probably more powerful than like he comes across,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But if they power that down, and I think Corey, you made the comparison with like Sandman from Spider-Man 3, the
Yeah.
Toby verse or whatever. Um, I think if they toned down his powers a little bit, and it was more like he could just, do the body, shaping and
Hmm.
configuration and stuff like that, and not so much a just a giant muck monster like Mike was talking about. But if it was really just like he could be anybody at any time and he could shapeshift and stuff like that, I think that's pretty interesting from the detective point of view, right? Where Batman
Right.
has to
Mhm.
figure out like, oh, like there was a murder or somebody stole it, and like how are you supposed to figure out who did it if
Yeah.
the criminal can shapeshift instantly, right? Like he sees, some 80-year-old dude rob a and then all of a sudden he turns the corner and it's just, you know, public people, and now he doesn't even see anybody. It could be anybody, right? Stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's in my headcanon what I hope they kind of do with that. Like I definitely don't want like the whole, you know, kind of like he's going to be something like a villain out of the Batman video games or something where
Over the
Robert Pattinson's
top, big
right, right,
monster, like
exactly,
grow into a skyscraper with
right. If they do
stupid
that, I'd be
thing.
like, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
no, I agree. I think because of the grounded aspect of the first one, I could see it being much more of a noir style where, yeah, like a whodunit, and where the mystery is, figuring out that
So
this is a supernatural creature, and you got to give him some restrictions. You got to, make it difficult for him to stay like in shape, or like he's got to reform himself or something that, because obviously he is super powerful in the comics and in the animated show, but here if you want to go grounded, I do think he needs to have some limitation to what he's capable of doing.
would you in that route, would you think it would be okay or cop out if they went totally like not super powered with him? Like if it was the way you said he's just like a master of disguise or does a bunch of plastic surgery or has some like condition where he can actually like just pull his face somewhere and it'll stay like Would you like make it very limited? Would you think that would be a cop out, or would you like them to do that and just sort of eliminate the whole shape shifting power altogether?
No, I would still want him to have that clay body type form at some point. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a signature thing. Like, I just think, you could explain it away easily. Like, maybe it was a recent thing and he hasn't mastered his, abilities to. So, because I mean, like, we think about like, oh, he can like change his arms into like scythes or swords or whatever, right? And it's like, and those things can become like super hard, right? So they can actually like stab or swing or slice or whatever and stuff like that. But I think it was just like he, maybe he doesn't even think about that. Maybe it's just like he's like, oh, I just want to use his power to steal, right? Or get away with bad shit, and then fighting the Batman maybe comes out a little bit. But yeah, I don't want
Yeah, I
big
think that's a
big
cop out if it's
nonsense.
just like boop
Yeah.
boop.
Yeah.
I wonder if
All
they'll
right,
go with
so
the sort of actor backstory with him that he normally gets.
Mm-hmm.
mm, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if he can, like, if he's gonna be a master of disguise or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's coming hopefully, and again, it's gonna be impacted by the writer's strike and the actor strike. So until
Yeah,
that
that
gets
seems
resolved, it's all still just a you know
that filming
a
window seems
twinkle in the eye.
optimistic to me, but we'll see.
Yep. I mean, they said March too, which is really
That's kind of
optimistic.
soon.
Yeah.
Kind of soon. Half a year
All
away,
right.
actually.
And saving the best for last. We talked about a little anime earlier, but we finally have some news on Arcane season 2,
Mm.
which is supposed to be coming next year as well. So that's the League of Legends anime, which I still have to say is probably the best art animation I've ever seen
Yep.
in anime form. It's amazing what they do with that and how they have incorporated 3D, 2D, and hand drawn, computer generated, all that together to make something that's as gorgeous to watch as it is, you know, the action wise and story wise. It's just all, it comes together really well. And the way it ended, you're like, oh, I need more.
Yeah, you need more. It's like you don't
Yeah.
know what happened and stuff like that.
So, yeah, probably like a year from now, if not more. We're looking at quarter 4, 2024.
Yeah, I mean, if they try to tie it in, I could see because League of Legends Worlds is about to happen, and that's like the end of the Super Bowl basically equivalent of
Right.
League of Legends Pro, circuit and
Okay.
stuff like that. So I guess I'm trying to like tie that in because I feel like Arcane was released kind of like, hey, like maybe we'll get some people to
Mhm.
try the game out and stuff like that, and it did lightning in a bottle kind of
Yeah.
record critical acclaim, stuff like that. So I mean, I've had so many people just like, I never even played League of Legends, and I'm gonna watch this because I heard it was good and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, and they nailed the story and the characters, and yeah, the animation is just ridiculous. So if you haven't seen Arcane, it's on Netflix. Go check it out. Highly recommend. And that is gonna do it for us on the movie cast, guys. So remember to like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitch at 8 o'clock. Normally 8 o'clock Tuesdays, we do it live. You can join the conversation. If you can't do that, we are on YouTube the following day normally, and on most of the podcasting spots that you got, Apple, Spotify, will be there the day after, mid-afternoon sometime. So again, check us out there, like us, and subscribe to
Please
our.
like us.
yes,
Thanks.
please.
That's it.